Alright guys, so I just wanted to do a quick video explaining why I'm here in Las Vegas. This weekend, coming up from the 14th to the 17th, is the Mr. Olympia. For those of you who don't know, it's basically the biggest bodybuilding show in the world. For people who do follow bodybuilding like myself, we kind of consider it to be the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. So you've got competitors and athletes from all over the world who come here to Las Vegas, and they're competing for the title of Mr. Olympia. If it's a male bodybuilder, there's women's physique, there's women's bikini, there's men's physique. There's a lot of different things going on here. Obviously, being a bodybuilder, I'm more into that side of things, and that's really what I follow closely. And that's my main reason for being out here, because I want to see who the next Mr. Olympia is. And in my opinion, if we look at the record and happening, trending, as far as when it comes to being consistent and looking his best every single time. So I don't expect things to be any different this year. I expect Phil to end up winning, and if he does win, it's going to be by enough of a margin to kind of cement the fact that he deserves to be tied with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Record-wise, you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger with 7 Mr. Olympia titles. You've got Phil currently with 6 Mr. Olympia titles. But if he ends up winning this contest, that means he's right up there with Arnold. And the only people who are ahead of Phil Heath and Arnold at this point, we've got Ronnie Coleman and Lee Haney. So what we're seeing here happen at this contest is history in the making. And specifically with this contest, it's an even bigger deal because there's been rumors that The Rock is going to be involved. He's got his company, $7 Productions, working with the IFBB and Weider, AMI, and they're actually all coming together to help get this broadcasted on television. So I really think it's a great place to be at this time of year specifically for this particular contest, because it seems to be growing and expanding in ways that it never has in the future. And that kind of brings me to why I'm here live broadcasting. Basically, I just want to kind of give you an overview of what it looks like to be in Vegas. It's a lot of fun, but it can be a little overwhelming if you're not prepared, especially when it comes to getting food and supplies. Depending on where it is you're staying, not every hotel has the same amenities. So you really have to be prepared for whatever will come your way. But the great thing about being in Vegas is that there's a lot of restaurants, there's a lot of grocery stores, there's places like Target and Walmart, and a lot of these places happen to be within walking distance if you're near the Strip or slightly off the Strip. The most amazing thing about Vegas, in my opinion, is just the view. Being from the East Coast, I see a lot of, we've got a lot of trees, but we don't necessarily have palm trees and tropical trees and things like that. And so seeing that when I look out the window is amazing. And if you come over here to the rear, just kind of follow, it's 360 degrees, you'll find that the view is amazing. As you can see, that's Vegas. I mean, that's the Strip. That's what everybody comes here for. If you open the window, I mean, the city never sleeps. Day, night, it just keeps going and going. If you walk along the Strip, you'll see a lot of interesting people, a lot of fancy cars. It's just a good place to be. It's a fun place to be. There's always something happening. It's lively. It's exciting. And there's just a lot of different activities that you can take advantage of. You just have to look into what's going to fit into your budget, what you can afford to do, and try not to break the bank when you're here, because it's very easy to go overboard trying to have too much fun. I mean, it's just one of those views that kind of makes you think to yourself, this is what Vegas is all about. The glitz and the glam, the big buildings, just a lot of really, it's larger than life almost. And so every morning, I wake up, and one of the first things I do is I open this window and I stand here and I just kind of take it all in, and I'm just thankful to be out here and to be able to witness all this, in person. I've always seen pictures of it, I've heard stories about it, but after all this time to finally actually see this, with my own 2 eyes, it's amazing. So I'm really happy to be here, and hopefully you can kind of see some of that excitement with me through this window. But getting into the more important things, when you come out to Vegas, like I said, you want to make sure that you're fully prepared for everything that comes your way. And if you're the type of person that's focused on fitness, you really want to make sure that your nutrition stays on point. While you can go to restaurants and you can get food on the go, and let's move around here. While you can go to restaurants and get food on the go, it's always important to kind of have a plan. And if you're going to have a particular diet when you're at home, your body's going to get used to it. And there's certain foods that are just going to work better with your system. You're going to digest them better, and you'll feel better when you're eating them. So even though you can have some fun and you can go to some steakhouses and some sushi restaurants and whatever else it is you like, because they have practically every type of food imaginable here, you still want to kind of stick to the basics, stick to your staple foods, and then, kind of throw in the things, litter them in there for fun, But with me, I'm always big on chicken breast. I'm big on chicken in general. So that was one of the first things I did. I looked up places that I could get basic supplies, chicken breast, the basic kind of carbs I eat, your oatmeal, your sweet potatoes, and even the vegetables that I like. And so I was really fortunate to find all of that within walking distance. I go to a place called Albertsons. It's a grocery store just right up the street here. I'm on East Flamingo Road here, and if I walk right down the road, about a mile and a half, I can find a grocery store. So the hardest thing is maybe dealing with the heat. As you're walking, it's easy to lose a lot of fluid, to sweat a lot, to lose a lot of water. So it's important to have your sunscreen on and to just really make sure you stay hydrated, because you'll lose a lot of water just going from A to B and not realizing it. But the fact is you need water. So one of the first things I got was a gallon, and I'm working on that right now. And a few other things that I bought, obviously, are going to be the staples, like I mentioned. So sweet potatoes are very easy to come by, and you can stay on a nutrition plan by eating them, just microwaving them. And they're really convenient because they keep for a while. And as you can see, they're easy to store. I can just keep them in a bag on the floor. All right, and then if you look here, I've got my chicken. I wanted something that'd be easy and I could just eat immediately. So I just went for the simple, basic rotisserie chicken. But eventually I'll buy some chicken breast, but I'll probably have to buy a Foreman grill because I don't have a way of cooking it here in my hotel room. Okay. Cost effective and give you a bang for your buck. This is the best option that I could find at Albertsons grocery store. Next up, we have some carbs. Because I do like my vegetables, I wanted to stick with them. So I went ahead and got a vegetable mix here that has some corn and some carrots and some green beans. But as you probably know, if you've done your homework, corn and carrots are going to be heavier in sugar and starch. So these work really good for carbs. And the green beans are in there for added fiber and just a little more taste. So, and of course, one of my biggest options is going to be broccoli. So I got plenty of that with me, and all of this is real easy to use. I've got a microwave right downstairs that I can use to make all of this. So, the moral of the story, what it all comes down to is you can come to Vegas, you can travel, you can be on the road, and you can still eat and do all the things that you want to do. And even though you may want to indulge and have some fun, you don't have to go completely off track. You don't have to completely lose yourself. You don't have to necessarily count your calories, but if there's certain foods that you're used to eating and you know that they work for you, there's no reason why you can't have them while you're on vacation. You're attending a work function, an event. If you're away from the home, you can make it work for yourself. And that's really the main thing I want to share here is that, I can be on the East Coast, near where everything I know, home, work, everything, and eat well. And then I can be over here on the West Coast where I don't really have